Hey everyone, welcome back to Google Workspace Recap, where we review everything new to Workspace every week. My name is Jesse Nolan, my co-host is Steve Larson, and we're here to help you keep up. I'd like to briefly update on last week's chat navigation app, mobile app update. I made a joke about, do you want some more navigation with your navigation, right? Because there was supposed to be a navigation bar like normal on the bottom with another navigation bar layered on top of it, only to realize that there was only just the one navigation bar on the bottom. Well, I got the update today and I got to the bottom of this. In the Gmail app, there are two navigation bars. So my joke still stands, and I'd like to have that on record so that it is known that I'm not crazy. So there. It is there. And honestly, it does work, even though it's a double bar on there. And I got the chat bubbles as well, although I'm hearing from some folks that they have not yet received that, even though they got the new navigation bar. So it looks like it is still rolling out. Steve, how you feeling? You better? You good?
Good. I'm feeling a little bit better, mostly better. Get the occasional cough that just won't go away for a minute or two, but otherwise, back in business for the most part.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah. I think it was just that, like you said, kind of change in weather is not always that great.
Yeah. Well, it's you had snow,
as amazing
right?
as the warm weather. Well, yeah, I left as it was snowing, and then went down into 80-degree weather for a week, and came back could barely talk and.
That's right.
Throat and
last time we saw you, you were.
It took a week.
Last time we saw you, you were Casey Neistat wannabe with the sunglasses, channeling your inner Casey.
Yeah. Those are at the bottom of the ocean.
Oh no, really? Yeah. So much for putting those on every episode.
I mean, it was a good thing, only like $10, but
yeah.
All right.
Well, it was fun while it lasted.
So. Yeah.
Well, while you had your feet up, it looks like Google had a monster week trying to push all this out before the end of the year.
It did. This has been a busy week here. Last 2 weeks, actually. I mean, last week was pretty substantial, and then this week we have 13 during the week, one at the end of the week recap post, and a lot of other stuff happening with Bard with Gemini, the release on that.
That's huge. Yeah.
Meet hardware. Yeah. And another, yet another Chrome release coming out as well, 120. We'll talk about that probably in next week's episode, though, just because of all the updates we have. So, I'll run through that agenda we have for you this week. First one that we saw there at the end of the week recap was the ability to report sharing and comment push notifications for abuse on Android devices. And then in published releases throughout the week, those 13 here, we'll start with you can now access Google Vault audit logs alongside other Workspace audit logs. Some changes there happening. You can start to solve math equations easily with Smart Compose. And oddly enough, I was getting some TikTok feed of people commenting about writing math equations in Google search. I do that a lot, actually. I just write some formula into the search bar, and it, Google solves it for me.
Done it for years.
Very fast calculator. Yeah, a lot faster than trying to open up a calculator and just put it in the search bar, and boom, does some stuff. But this is for Smart Compose. Next, we have there's a redesigned search results page in Google Chat. More Vault updates here, where admins in Google Vault can now export hyperlink to Google Drive content from Gmail messages. Also, some client-side encryption as a default mode for new emails, events, and files. There's a new beta to add granular control options for who can respond to Google Forms. Next, seventh update here, you can turn on snippets for additional context surrounding data loss prevention rule violations. That's kind of cool. You can manage conversations by muting notifications in Google Chat. So more of those chat updates coming. We can now see there's an upgraded grace period for resolving policy violations in managed iOS devices. Custom notifications for Google Chat data loss prevention rules are now GA. That is good as well. eSignatures now generally available for Google Workspace individual subscribers. I think that is still in beta for non-individual subscribers, so still waiting for that for most of us.
Yep.
And then the last two we have here is additional enhancements to the search results page in Google Chat. So it sounds a little bit similar to that third update I mentioned. And then finally, you can easily fill in smart chips in Google Docs using placeholder chips. And And then, as I said, Bard Gemini update coming. So a lot of different, I guess there's 3 different Gemini versions that they announced with that. And the Meet hardware saw an update to the Chrome OS version there. A few new things, a few fixed things, and a few known issues there. So if you're a Meet hardware customer, check out that latest update. There's a few things there for the Avicor equipment and Poly Studios and some additional camera support. We'll let you dive into that. And if you want to have a close look at that, as I said, Chrome 120 also came out. We'll talk about more about those updates in next week's episode. And I think we're gonna have some updates next week, right? Some big updates next week on the episode.
Stay tuned.
So stay tuned. Yeah. And let's see what else we have here. And then, of course, in the news, a couple little minor items here in the news. Lenovo Chromebox that fits in your pocket. So those are getting smaller and smaller for Chrome devices. And then we talked about this, I think, a while ago, about an update on Google Podcast shutting down. That is going to be happening in April of 2024. So that is the agenda for this week. And Jesse has a little comment here from our sponsors.
Yep, forgot to mention at the beginning of the episode, this episode is sponsored by Jamf. Don't click away, just real quick. We know that you're Google experts, but what about those Apple-shaped gaps in your device management strategy? That's where our friends at Jamf come in, turning your Apple device management into a breeze. If you've got a seamless Google Workspace operation, but feel that managing and securing your Apple devices is still a bit of a puzzle, Jamf is the missing piece that you've been searching for. Jamf specializes in Apple device management and security, making sure your iPhones, iPads, and Macs are running smoothly and securely within your Google-powered world. Whether it's deploying apps, enforcing security policies, or ensuring every device is up to date, Jamf has got you covered. With Jamf, you can streamline the onboarding process for your Apple devices, ensuring they seamlessly integrate with your Google Workspace environment. Log into your Mac with your Google credentials, silently deploy Google Drive, Chrome, and the other Google apps to your Apple devices. Ship security events to Google Chronicle, and so much more. Whether you're a startup or an enterprise, start taking your Apple devices seriously with Jamf. Go to jamf.com/, Workspace Recap.
Back over to me.
Back over to you.
All right.
Caught you drinking.
Well, I was waiting for the handover. That's all. Just, thought you might say something.
Back to you, Steve.
All right. Thanks, Jesse. So first update there, that end of week recap post. It's talking about report sharing and comment push notifications for abuse on Android devices. So a lot of the enhancements that we'd heard about earlier this year to be able to report, documents or things that are shared with you that you don't want. A lot of stuff happens on Calendar and Drive, and a lot of that stuff. I start to see it more and more in the last year. Honestly, ever since these tools to report it came out, I started seeing it more and more. I don't know what the coincidence is with that, but this is now going to be a little bit easier on Android devices in order to do that. So if users have that user will now have the ability to report comment notifications and sharing notifications to spam directly from the notification in the Google Drive app. And then also, if users have lost access to a document, they'll be able to perform a user block still be able to perform a user block on the user sent or the share or comment. And this is rolling out to both rapid release and scheduled release domains on an extended rollout up to potentially longer than 15 days for visibility. And the expected completion, though, is not going to be until January 2024. And all Workspace customers and personal Google accounts will have access to that. All right. Next main update here is that access to Google Vault audit logs alongside other Workspace audit logs is going GA now. So again, something I think that I've seen in my console for a while, but the availability of improved Google Vault audit logs experience is now GA. So you'll find Vault audit logs in the admin console alongside those other Workspace apps like Gmail, Drive, and more there. And beginning in January, the Vault audit logs can be accessed by the Reports API, which you can use to actively monitor your domain's Vault usage. And there'll be some more information on the updates blog when that functionality becomes available. So this is just kind of, bringing all those different logs and things aligned in the same space. And it also enables audit logs in the admin console to be compliant with the new regionalized data processing capabilities. So that is cool as well. So that was some of those digital sovereignty controls that Google had. So I think just for those select customers that are in very specific industries that can pay for that, because that's a pretty premium feature, I believe, if I recall correctly. Rollout for this one, there's some additional details here. Duration, access, visibility remains the same. Continue to require the managed audit permission there. And the Vault audit logs can be accessed through the Vault reports and Matter audit links, as well as from the admin console. Rollout for this one is a gradual rollout up to 15 days for visibility that started on the 4th of December for both wrapped release and scheduled release domains. And, of course, only available to those customers that have Google Vault, or the Vault add-ons, of course. Next, with Smart Compose, getting some more functionality here. You can solve math equations more easily there with Smart Compose. So when you start typing a math equation that ends with the equal sign into your document presentation or spreadsheet comments or drawings, solutions will appear as gray text suggestions. And this kind of gives you some, more seamless mathematical experience here to increase productivity. I don't know how often I'll be using this one, but cool nonetheless to see that coming.
Well, it makes
there.
a lot of sense. I've seen folks keep a Google Sheet open for them to just throw some math in there throughout the day as they come across it. Especially folks that do a lot of math, accountants, finance folks, even developers. Sometimes
I have one that stores. I have one that stores my commonly used formulas that I often use. So it just has a bunch of cells of different formulas that
I've seen some crazy complex ones like that. Yeah. No, this is I think going to be a nice addition. Like we were saying earlier, I usually just throw it up in Google Search or in the Chrome search bar because then it's just really easy to do some easy math there. Honestly, though, with I have a Logitech MX Keys keyboard. I've got a keyboard button a calculator button on it. Mm-hmm. Just pulls up the keyboard. The calculator on both Mac and PC, whichever you're using it on, and it is really simple and straightforward that way. This is, I imagine, a little bit more complex math equations. I also like typing into Google asking, what's 37.3% of something, because good Lord, I'm not doing that math.
Yeah, exactly. Or just any kind of equation. It's a little quicker than going into Sheets and putting in the formula in the cell. Yeah. All right. Well, rollout for this one has started on the 5th of December for wrapped release domains. Gradual rollout there for up to 15 days for visibility. Same kind of rollout pace for scheduled release domains, but that will start in a few days on the 18th of December. And this is available to just select SKUs. So Business Starter, Standard, Business Plus. I mean, it looks like everyone. Business Starter, Standard Plus, Essentials. It's pretty much everyone. Who is listed here? I don't know. Frontline?
No Frontline.
Yeah, but I'm sure they probably get no Frontline, but that seems weird that they don't get it.
This is going to be our tiniest GIF ever. Also, it's a little rectangle. It's just the white around the text of the equation, and that's it.
Small.
So I'll put it up on the screen next to us like normal, but folks, it's teeny tiny, so you may not be able to see it so well.
It is. And the context of it's very you can't even tell where it's at or how to access it. It looks like it's at a dock, right? That's what it looks like to me. But that's it. All right, next update here. We have that the introduction of a redesigned search results page in Google Chat. So again, kind of building upon that announcements that we had around Next and everything. The upgrade to the search result page is now rolling out. Chat will highlight matching keywords in the search results and show clear demarcation between results for easier browsing. I wonder how that mobile search is. Have you tested this out in the mobile search? Is it a similar experience? See if that looks like. I'm curious to see if the highlights come out also available on mobile. Yeah. So the highlighted words obviously will help you find what you're looking for there. And this rollout here is available now to all users on the web and mobile. So it does say web and mobile. So we'll see how good that is. I always had different experience with search on mobile for chat. It's always been a little different than the desktop version. I always found the desktop to be, I don't know, easier to navigate the results and better results.
Right. Well, I am doing it on. I am testing it on the account that has the new interface and the chat bubbles and so on, and it does highlight the words, and it also flagged me to say that it now has a filter of most relevant or most recent. You can sort by either, and then of course you've got the drop down. What do you call it? Filters on the top of the screen there as well, just like you do on the web version. So, and that's on iOS. I've not tried it on Android.
Cool. Well, those search results, one details on that, they're based on what exact query, as well as additional queries that might have been triggered, like secondary queries, synonyms, and spell corrections, etc., etc., etc. Yep. All right, more Vault updates here. Admins in Google Vault can now export hyperlinked Google Drive content from Gmail messages. So this started,
Why did this take until the end of 2023 to become a thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
I know, right? So in this update, admins can export those Drive files hyperlinked in Gmail messages directly in Google Vault. So when those admins select export linked Drive files, Vault will look for Drive hyperlinks in the body of the emails being exported from Gmail. And then if those hyperlinks are found, a separate export of Drive files will also be created. So making it a lot easier to really get a better understanding of what was in that email and include it there, not just the text that was in that message, but also what was linked.
And this follows up last week's, which you may have missed because you were sick, of being able to export calendar events as part of Vault now as well.
Nice.
So Vault getting some really solid, much needed, long awaited updates here.
I know.
Vault has been like nothing for years.
Yeah. I mean, it was, what was the, I'm drawing a blank now what it came from.
The original product?
What was it called? It was,
exactly.
That was,
with a P. The Postini.
Postini.
Yeah.
Postini.
Teamwork.
Yes, there you go. That's all I needed. That's all I needed. Postini. Yeah, it really hasn't seen much updates from the UI change. That's it. Even the UI took so long.
We got MBox, we got PST rather. We had MBox, then we got PST. That was a big update. Yeah. I was very, very happy to have that.
Just the interface was old for so long. Yeah. All right. Well, the update here that we're talking about that started for the Vault user interface updates that started the 4th of December. A gradual rollout up to 15 days for visibility for both rapid release and scheduled release domains. The API updates that starts on an extended rollout, starts on the 4th of December on an extended rollout, potentially longer than 15 days for both of those rapid release and scheduled release domains. And again, if you have Vault or the add-on, you will have access to that. Next, clients, you can now set client-side encryption as the default mode for new emails, events, and files. What would be good if, this is client-side encryption, right? But what would be great is if confidential mode could be triggered as the default on, or turns on automatically when certain conditions exist. That was one of the
interesting,
the biggest challenges I always face talking to customers about. Well, you can send secure messages in Gmail through confidential mode, but it's tough to enforce it or turn it on automatically when you're sending messages, or to enable it as the message gets sent if the user forgot to turn it on, if that message meets certain conditions. That's something that I would love to see, is confidential mode getting some automation in it. And I haven't really seen or heard any movement on that, but that would be a cool thing to have. I was actually just trying to send some documents to a bank today, and I said, hey, can you send me a link to your secure document portal, or here's these documents through Google Drive. Oh, we can't access that link. And I'm like, all right, well, how about a confidential message? I'm sure they're going to come back and say we can't access that either.
I have tried that before, where when dealing with, for example, Morgan Stanley, who, as a policy, bans everything Google across the board.
Yeah.
Confidential mode did not work, which I had tried to do after sending them a drive link, which obviously didn't work. So all of Google, the whole domain, IPs, everything totally blocked.
I mean,
which is just sad.
They should have a link for a document.
Yeah, they
portal,
do.
Though.
They
should
send
have like a way you can
send
go
a
to their
Dropbox
account
or whatever. But it's just sad because Google is secure. People, come on.
Yeah. Well, you know what I think? I think what it is they're limiting data leak and monitoring. They have to be very specific.
Sure, but somebody sending you something that you can't access to download only, like, I don't know. There's got to be a middle ground.
Yeah.
And by the way, what has ended up happening? You talk about limiting. People have created Gmail accounts to use for this purpose, and then it's like, well, that's just terrible. So
Yeah. Right.
I heard about that from another client. Yikes.
Yep. Oh, I've seen that. Yeah,
I don't know if it was actually Morgan Stanley. It might have been a different group, but that's what people do. Is they just go and create a workaround, and it's like, okay, well, now you're less secure. How does that help you?
Yeah. True. All right. Well, the client-side encryption default mode here, admins are able to set that with CSE by default for newly created Gmail messages, Google Calendar events, also for newly created docs, sheets, and slide files, as well as newly uploaded Google Drive files. So that will be possible moving forward. And some, decent animation here in this update. Not quite as small as our mathematical equation one. So this, will apply to, of course, pretty small subset, I think, of our listeners and of Google customers in general. But for those of you that are using CSE, this will definitely help out in automating that and enabling this for your users. This rollout started the 5th of December on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for visibility for both rapid release and scheduled release domains. And, this is for Google Workspace Assured Controls as an add-on for Enterprise Plus customers. So, Assured Controls is that like top tier echelon of customers that are going to be paying a lot of money for this. So, very few customers, I believe, are leveraging this. Next, new beta is out to add granular control options for who can respond to Google Forms. So you'll have, previously here, we saw that form creators had 2 sharing options to restrict responses to users within the domain or trusted domains, or to make the forms public. And with the new option here, though, you'll be able to limit response access to specific users, groups, or target audiences, very similar to how file owners can restrict the sharing of docs, sheets, slides, sites, and so on in Drive. So this will be it's a cool way to kind of give you some more control over who can respond to those forms and limit that. So availability for this is, looks like it is out now. No rollout pace on this one, but just looking at, trying to see if I missed it here, if they mentioned it somewhere here, but, here we go. Here we go. For you to sign up the organization for the beta using the form. So there's a link that we will include. So when you sign up for that, users with the Google group that are signed up for the beta should see this new feature within 2 to 3 weeks. So this is something that you do have to sign up for. So it's not one of those, betas that everyone gets access to. So you will have to fill out a form to get access. So if you are an end user looking for this feature, ask your admins to add you to that group and submit the form and test this new feature out. There's also a link for users with personal Google accounts and Workspace individual subscribers. Looks like there is a different form for that. So keep an eye on the update here for the link that you need for your use case. And then next, we have the ability to turn on snippets for additional context surrounding data loss prevention rule violations. So when you have these, DLP rule violations or a little bit of extra text that you could add in to let users know what's going on here. So this is going to start to apply for DLP events for Drive, Chat, and Chrome. So those snippets will log the matched content that triggered the DLP violation in the security investigation tool. And then admins will be able to use this information captured in the snippet to better identify actual security risks, determine whether a false positive was returned, and decide on an appropriate course of action here. So, okay, so this is more for the admins. So when I read this, I thought it was more the snippets that, the feedback that you get as a user on the DLP violation. Mm-hmm. This is more for admins. It's kind of cool. So you can review the snippets and then kind of see what was triggering the rule to then maybe fine tune that DLP rule. So it'll be off by default. So if you're an admin, you want to go into the admin console there under security, data protection settings, and sensitive content storage, and enable that there. So you can turn that on under description column and scroll down to sensitive content snippets, and you'll start to see the match detector ID, and then the match content starting character, and then the match content length. So yeah, it's you gotta dig deep, I think, to get that, but it is there. This rollout started on the 6th of December, potentially longer than 15-day rollout for both rapid release and scheduled release domains. And this is available to those select enterprise customers, select Education Plus customers, and then Cloud Native Premium and Beyond Corp Enterprise customers. So available to just those with DLP functionality. All right. Next one here is the ability to manage conversations by muting notifications in Google Chat. So there'll be a new mute-unmute option in Google Chat to assist in prioritizing and managing messages. I wonder, is it the same? Is there a keyboard shortcut like there is to mute email messages? I don't know. Probably not. But right-click on the mess or the space there, or the DM, and you can start to mute those conversations. So it will not send push notifications. It won't appear in home, and it will also be visually deprioritized by being moved to the bottom of each conversation section. There we go. So if you're getting a lot of notifications from something you really don't want to keep an eye on anymore, you'll be able to.
Yeah, this is going to be similar to muting an email in Gmail.
Yeah, exactly. So does it turn back on though? I don't know if it turns back on like muting does with messages, but email messages. But just looking here, I'm just seeing if you get directly mentioned, for example, to something that get triggered. But to unmute, yeah, click this, unmute the option. Doesn't look like there's a way for it to. Yeah. It doesn't get turned back on automatically from what I can tell here, which is unlike mute emails where if you get put back in the to field, it will bring it back to your inbox. But rollout for this one started with rapid release domains on the 6th of December on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for visibility. And the scheduled release domains, we'll see that starting the 18th of December on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for visibility. That is for the web rollout. For mobile rollout, that started quite some time ago, back in the 28th of November, for both rapid release and scheduled release domains on a 15-day rollout, gradual rollout for those customers. And all Workspace customers and personal Google accounts will get access to that one. All right. Next, we have the updated grace period for resolving policy violations in managed iOS devices. So, with this update here, the current situation with the way things was when admins made a policy change that resulted in an app going from unmanaged to managed. If that violation was detected, 24-hour grace period was given for users to comply with the change. And then after the grace period, users would lose the ability to access their Google Workspace account. So moving forward, there's some adjustments, and they're adjusting a few components here to how the grace period operates to boost compliance and prevent inadvertent circumvention. So with no grace period here, none, the managed app, in this situation here, the managed app's policy violation is detected during the device enrollment, and the managed app policy violation by the app is detected after 24 hours from the moment the admin changes the policy. That next step here is going to be the same for both these. The user will be prompted to install the app from the Google Device Policy app for iOS, or they'll lose access to Google Workspace. And then also grace period here is 24 hours. The managed apps policy violation by the app is detected within the 24 hours from the moment the admin changes the policy. So I guess there's a little differences here to the way things are, but hopefully that helps improve, as it says, it helps boost compliance and prevent inadvertent circumvention. So that setting and functionality is available now to both rapid release and scheduled release domains, and this starts with Business Plus, Enterprise Standard, Enterprise Plus customers and up. Also Frontline Starter, Frontline Standard, Education Standard and Plus customers, as well as those Enterprise Essentials, Enterprise Essential Plus customers, and those with Cloud Identity Premium added on as well. All right. Back to some more DLP functionality here. So there's some custom notifications for Google Chat DLP rules now being generally available. So there was that beta that was announced earlier this year that allowed admins to display custom notifications when a Google Chat message is blocked or intercepted based on data loss prevention rules. So this is kind of what I was thinking of in the other update, where the users are seeing some messages here. So the custom notifications that admins can provide users with will give that user, of course, a little bit more context about why they're blocked from sending that specific message, and then what they can do to unblock themselves, and include some links to additional resources where they might be able to get some guidelines for sensitive data and actionable recommendations. So there's some information from the original announcement that is linked in the article here, and a little image of what the pop-up notification looks like for users when that message couldn't be sent. So a rollout pace for this one, this started on the 7th of December, and it was on a very quick full rollout with 1 to 3 days for visibility for both rapid release and scheduled release domains. And again, if you have DLP available, then enterprise SKUs, you will have access to this one. So just those select customers that are using DLP.
I don't think that was in the recap post. No, after updated grace periods for policy violations, I have additional enhancements to the search results page in Google Chat.
Interesting. 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 You look at the recap post.
So I have the RSS feed open also, but I usually look through the recap post and it's not there. eSignature is also not there.
Oh, really? Okay. So a couple little items missed in the recap post, huh? Yeah, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, only 11.
There's the 2.
Only 11 sections or items. Yeah, that's the 2. That's what we're missing.
I was like, where is he reading this from?
Right. Yeah, that's where I got it from. All right, so this was custom notifications for Google Chat. We've got a couple more left here. Geez, 3 more left. Still a few more to go. Next one, like I said, eSignatures being generally available for Workspace individual customers. So this is kind of piggybacking on the earlier announcement where the eSignature for Docs and Drive was announced in beta, and that was back in over a year ago, August. No, sorry, not a year ago. No, sorry, this was August 2023. I'm mixing up my years here. So only a few months ago. But earlier in June 2022, they began alpha testing that. That's last year, obviously. But the ability for eSignatures for Workspace individual customers is now GA, and that will be available for Docs and Drive and rolling out now. So you'll be able to see, you'll be able to request signatures, see the status of pending signatures, and find completed contracts. You'll also be able to sign official contracts directly within Google Drive, eliminating the need to switch apps or tabs. And you can also create a copy of any given contract so it can be used as a template to initiate multiple eSignature requests. So there you go. some enhancements since that last announcements. So some new expanded functionality. It's going to include an audit trail, multi-signer, non-Gmail users, as well as initiating eSignature on PDFs in a beta there is going to be available. So a couple new things coming to this feature as this rolls out into GA for individual customers. And then there'll be some new things coming out in the next few months. So the PDF templates and then custom text fields will be coming in the next few months. So select Workspace editions. There'll be some availability section here that I'll rattle off below. But you can also apply it to beta test the eSignature using that form. So those will be that form will be accepting applications until the 18th of December. And then that feature will be available as part of a larger beta, which will include access to the new custom email layouts in Gmail. So that is also a pretty cool update.
Interesting point in the availability here. It says that it's available to Workspace individual subscribers, but eligible for the beta is Workspace Business Standard, Business Plus, Enterprise Starter, Enterprise Standard, basically everybody, except for everybody above Business Standard and nonprofits.
Standard above Starter,
and
yes,
nonprofits.
Standard and above, yep, Standard above, yep, indeed. So that's the rollout coming to Workspace there. It's cool. So this is definitely one to sign up for and start testing. This would be a cool new feature. See if you can get rid of some of those other eSignature document tools that cost a fortune that are very complex to set up. Hopefully this makes it a lot easier and more seamless because, really it's like most of the time it really just is, putting in a few open text fields for someone to type in their name, their title, and the date and sign it, right? That's the majority of eSignature stuff. That's it, very few orgs have a super complex eSignature process, but this should hopefully simplify things a lot. All right. Did I do this twice? I think I did this twice. What do I have?
Additional enhancements to the search results page in chat is next.
Well, I had... Oh, sorry. I opened up that old link to the...
Confused yourself.
That's why I had an extra doc or extra tab here. I did. I looked at the date. I'm like, wait a minute, August? That's the wrong date. That's not now. All right, additional enhancements to the search results in Google Chat. Yes. So, this looks very similar to the announcement that I was talking about earlier. Redesigned chat functionality, highlighting of the search query words that you have. Really not much in this update that really is new. It was kind of talked about in the other updates.
The screenshots are identical.
Duplicated, really. Right. That's what I'm looking at. I'm like, this is the same screenshot of the highlight text. And, they maybe could have combined this update together into one. I think they, split this out for unnecessary reasons. This is actually the same stuff that's in the other update. Anyways, rollout for this one. Started December 8th, full rollout. Rapidly schedule these domains. Everyone gets this. Everyone on Workspace as well as personal accounts. So that's all done. Looks like probably a duplicate there. Last but not least, easily fill in smart chips in Google Docs using placeholder chips. So this is, for when you're in those docs, it'd be a replaceable chip for people, dates, files, events, and places can be inserted and quickly filled in by collaborators. So upon hovering or clicking on a chip, a search menu opens and includes results filtered by the chip type. And these placeholder chips are particularly useful for when you're using building blocks and custom building blocks. And
this is huge for building blocks and templates. If you have shared templates that people use, like meeting notes, for example, or whatever, internal documents, being able to just have a place instead of putting some other place there and expecting people to know to change it.
So this one started rolling out on the 8th of December, gradual rollout up to 15 days for visibility there, and both wrap release and schedule release domains will be seeing this across all Workspace and personal Google accounts. So that wraps up the updates for this week. Had lots of them for you there, so hopefully you found some useful ones in those. And Jesse will talk a little bit about the two news articles.
Okay, finally a real successor to the Chromebit, if you all remember that, the little teeny tiny dongle device that people have been using for signage and smaller applications for years. This is the Chromebox Micro from Lenovo, small company called Lenovo. They've been building out a whole bunch of great Chrome devices over the years, and this looks to be another hit for them. It's basically the size of a smartphone and has the same processing power as a Chromebook that you would get for a student, for example. So it's got the N4500 Intel Celeron N4500 CPU. It's got 8 gig of RAM, 32 gig of storage. It's fanless, ventless, dustproof. It's basically bulletproof and made to run forever. And that was the idea. It's made for signage, and essentially it weighs a pound, which is almost nothing. And it's just designed to be a really rock solid, simple, straightforward Chromebox. And they actually partnered with, I'm not finding the name of the company here, can power two 4K displays.
4K displays. That's crazy. Like your MacBook couldn't even power two 4K displays.
It's just that one of them is a 27-inch. Sorry, one of them is two 27-inch 4K displays side by side. So, and the other one is a massive 4K. So yeah, we were joking about before the show that Macs are not able to necessarily handle that much unless you upgrade to the highest M3 Max processor here. Anyway, another point here is that they also offer a monitor. They worked with a company called In-Store Screen to develop a custom 15.6-inch and 21.5-inch touchscreen display that actually has a cutout built into the back of it, so you can just slot this Chromebox Micro directly into the back of it and screw it in, and then mount the whole thing on whatever surface you please. This is going to be priced, just the Chromebox itself, at $219 in the US and be slated for release in the first quarter of 2024 in select worldwide markets. So stay tuned on this. I think this is going to be selling like hotcakes in the beginning. It's going to be very popular, and this is just a great all-around wonderful Chromebox device. Very excited for that.
I like the A open one though. I really like the A open one. That thing is pretty. That thing is a beast. Those things are
the whole thing is a heat sink.
The heat sinks on that. I love those ones.
Yeah. So
yeah,
those are pretty cheap.
Yeah, and those things are cheap though too. That's around that. That's the thing though. Yeah, those were $250 something like that. So a little bit more. And I think that's the thing. Like for the price point, I'd go with the A Open. Honestly, the A Open one just has more functionality, more features, more connectivity options, and I don't know. It just seems like it's just built more commercial grade than this one. But I think that if the price point on this one could have been like around 150, 170, like under 200, it's got to be under 200 to make it kind of appealing for me to take it over the A Open one. But still nice to see some competition though in this space, because really the A Open one was the only one that. Yeah,
I'd like to get some hands on before making a judgment here. I think that this one probably also is built like a tank and is. I imagine made out of metal pretty much all around. It's hard to tell just looking at the pictures. I don't see anything that says what it's made out of. But I imagine that this is designed to compete directly with that. So good call. All right. Last but not least, goodbye, Google Podcasts. Google announces that Google Podcasts will officially shut down in April 2024, coinciding, coincidentally or not, with Google Next. If you haven't gotten your tickets for that, do so now. They are selling like hotcakes. But anyway, back to the update. Google Podcast is going to be shut down. There's a new support article that details how Google will be shutting it down. There are a couple options for you here. There's a really easy one-click option to migrate all of your subscriptions and everything you have set up on podcasts over to YouTube Music. It's music.youtube.com/transfer_podcasts. And if you want to leave the Google ecosystem entirely, you can export everything into a OPML file, and that's at podcast.google.com/settings. You'll find that there. So still haven't seen anything from the host's perspective as to how we're supposed to work with the fact that we've got a lot of history on Google Podcasts, as well as this show and all of our episodes there for the last, 3 years since we started it. And what that's going to look like, given that the podcast is also on YouTube in video form and listed on YouTube as a podcast and can be seen in YouTube Music as a podcast. So quite frankly, I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but I imagine we're going to see some information coming out on that as this approaches.
Yeah, interesting. So, I mean, is there going to be a way for someone to like tag
so
a
there
video
already
as a
is.
podcast? So
there already is,
and
this show is tagged as a podcast, and you can listen to just the audio on Apple Music. I think it does play the video if you have it open or something along those lines. I haven't really played with it much, but this show is classified as a podcast on YouTube. And the question is, okay, well, now that I'm bringing over, like, if I were to bring over that metrics and that content from Google Podcasts as a host, then, where does that go?
Yeah.
Right? Does it combine? How is it going to combine? Or does it just disappear? I don't know. Maybe we'll just lose those metrics. We'll have to see. All right. Well, that's all for this week. Stay tuned next week for some big news from us. Send us your questions and comments on Twitter, as usual, at Workspace Recap, and our website, workspacerecap.com. Hit the subscribe button wherever you're listening so that you don't miss any of our updates every single week. Thumbs up if you're over on the YouTube side. Drop your comments. By all means, have a great week. Happy holidays, everyone. And we'll see you next time on Workspace Recap.